Hello, everyone. Welcome back to live Q&A with Perfectly Holistic. My name is Pam, and I'm excited to be back with you. It's been a very long month, it feels like, since we were here, and I've got some great ideas to talk with you guys about tonight. But first of all, I wanted to let you guys know that we are streaming live on our Facebook and YouTube platforms. So if you have some questions and some things on your mind you want to talk about tonight, go ahead and start dropping comments over here in the under the show, Facebook and YouTube. And I can also see your comments on Instagram. So you guys following us on Instagram Live, go ahead and drop your comments in here. And I'm going to say hi to Tony. How are you? Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. I'm going to give the algorithm a few seconds to kind of start populating and notifying our followers so you guys can join in on the show. So first of all, happy March, everyone. I can't believe it's March. And I don't even know where February went. It was kind of a blur on my side, which I'll kind of share a little bit as we go through the show here. But how are things with you guys? How are your cats? Are things stable and going along smoothly? Are you running into some problems, some hiccups, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do? Hopefully that is not the case, but if you are, that's what I'm here for, to give advice, suggestions. I do have to clarify, I'm not a vet. I'm just speaking from personal experience and working with clients from a holistic perspective. Nothing is meant to diagnose, treat, or cure here. We are just sharing information, things that I have learned and have applied over the years with my clients, my cats. And so I can tell you what I've learned from amazing integrative holistic veterinarians that I have learned from. And then I also apply a lot of the energetics. So I talk about the emotional aspects, the spiritual aspects of things that can affect our cats and things that affect us. So it kind of commingles, if you will. Energy isn't limited by time and space, and the energy we have in our homes affects our pets, whether you try to hide it or not, whether you're aware of it or not. They can sense your energy, they can pick up on things. And so it's just real important to remember that and keep that in mind whenever you're dealing with some kind of an issue going on. So there's always an emotional component to some kind of health issue. So keep that in mind as you're trying to go through and find root causes and things like that. And I do want to say also, whatever you guys are dealing with, I want you to keep in mind the most important question that you could be asking is, why is this happening? Why is the most important question that you can ask yourself, your vet, your animal communicator, whoever, your professional person is that you're trying to go to for information to help your cats. If we can't find the root cause, you are going to be wasting your time. It's like being stuck on a Ferris wheel you can't get off. So you might be throwing tons of money at supplements and foods and trying to see what works, what doesn't work. And so if you can learn how to muscle test, it streamlines that whole process. It's like a funnel. It goes from wide to super narrow, and you can really drill down into the nitty-gritty into what your cat needs and what is beneficial at this time. So that is something super important I want everybody to take home. And remember, you've got to ask the most important question, and that is, why is this cat having a problem, whatever problem it might be? Because if you can find the why, finding the what is so much easier. So it's like, if you just start with the what to do, you're going to be going all over the place. And, that is not very productive use of your time or your money. So keep that in mind. That is my advice all the time. I try to shout it to them from the rooftops, especially in these holistic spaces online. I see people offering, their suggestions, their advice, whatever, but people are asking the wrong questions a lot of times. They're not asking why, they're asking what to use. So keep that in mind. Until we have that mental shift, you're not going to have a shift. So very important. I want to say hello to some people over here. I think this is Daria. And I know Tony is here. And Soak in My Diamonds. Oh, what a lovely handle. I love that. That sounds like a really nice thing to do. Soaking your diamonds. Love, love, love. Okay. So I know it's March. It's March 4th. Are your cats struggling with allergies yet? It could be respiratory allergies. It could be itching, skin twitching, especially around the face and the ears, contributing something that's contributing to a little histamine and skin irritation. So very common this time of year as the trees start to bloom. You've probably noticed this if you are sensitive to and have allergies where you are. So can cats. So it's not uncommon, especially if your cat struggles with some kind of a compromised immune system or a weakened immune system on some level. It will have a hard time mounting a normal histamine response in seasons where allergies just go haywire. So one of the things I would recommend is working on gut health this time of year. So think about adding stuff like ion gut support, minimize toxins, like look at the type of water your cats drink. If you can avoid vaccinations, definitely avoid vaccinations, avoid toxic chemicals like flea and tick medications. These things destroy the gut lining. They destroy your cat's immune system and their gut. So if that is damaged in some element, your immune system is going to struggle. Your digestive system is going to struggle. And so they all share the same real estate. So keep that in mind as you move forward through the spring and into the summer months when you have a lot of weeds and grasses and trees. These molecules are in the air. Even if your cat doesn't go outside, every time that door opens, when you are outside, you're bringing in those molecules. They're in the air. It can irritate cats. It can cause respiratory issues. And I see it all the time. So focus on working on gut health. And there's a ton, we've talked about gut health probably almost every episode of Q&A. So if you want to go back and revisit some of those conversations, definitely do that. But the most important thing you can do is stop contributing to the toxin load and then detox the toxins out of your cat. Support the liver. Milk thistle and detox blend from Animal Essentials is a really good product to support the liver and lymphatic system. Get the lymph moving. Get your cat moving. If there can be a lot of stagnation, if you have a couch potato, and if you need a little stimulation and encouragement to get your cat moving, I have the perfect toy system for you. Hello, Bernice. You can check out the Rompy Cats cat toys. They are interactive wand toys with attachments that look like bugs, and they can actually move like the real bugs in real life. You don't just, fly them around the room, but look at the type of bug it is, and it can actually, you can make it crawl on the floor, imitate the movement of bugs, because cats love bugs. When was the last time you saw your cat chasing a fly or a spider? Or, they get fascinated and focused in on the movement of bugs. It draws in their attention. So the Rompy Cats, especially the Critter Bugs toys, the newest line is so adorable, but they're sturdy, they're handmade. They are so attractive to cats. And even my 17-year-old boy who loves to nap a lot, he loves these toys. So if you have a cat, not too active, a little lazy, sorry guys, they're only sold in the continental United States. I don't go, well, Hawaii is okay, in Alaska, but we definitely don't sell outside the United States. So sorry if you guys are overseas or in Canada, I can't do it right now. But yeah, get your cats moving. Play with your cats. That helps. If they don't have outdoor access that is safe for them, then set aside some time every day to do some play sessions, maybe 10 to 15 minutes. And it's a good bonding time for you and your cats. And they love it. Change out the toys so they don't get bored with the same old thing all the time. But that helps, any kind of movement or exercise is really good for the lymphatic system and moving that lymph through the body. So all these little things can, if you add them all up, they can make a big difference. Um, Pia says, yeah, I'm sorry. Daria says, yes, Pia chases fruit flies. I don't even know how she spots them. They're so small. I know. Cats have incredible sense of hearing. So they can hear those little wings buzzing, even if we don't necessarily hear that. Um, Cats are, I think they're supernatural, honestly, on some level. They have some spidey senses, so to speak, and they're excellent at finding bugs and, critters and stuff. So, okay, so let's see. Let me know if you guys over on Instagram have any questions that you want to, or just topics you want to go over tonight. Just drop them in the comments because I am watching over here. Let's see. Go over here, and then again, you guys can drop comments on Facebook and YouTube if you want to. And before I forget, this is totally unrelated, but I am going to put this out there because guys, I am all about energy and manifestation and energetics and all that good stuff. I am looking for a bookkeeper to run my show, or not literally show, but the books on my company. And this person must have Shopify platform experience and QuickBooks experience, and they must talk to each other. So I am not a numbers person, I'm an energy person. And the number stuff and the math and the reports and the analytics and the bookkeeping, I'm just going to say it, are not my thing. They're not my strength. And I want to put my strength and my focus and my energy into what I'm really good at. And I want to push all this onto somebody who's really, really, really good at that I can talk to, have meetings with, and just let them run the books, because I just can't do it all. I can't wear all the hats. So I'm putting it out there. If you are a bookkeeper with those qualifications, please reach out to me. Send me an email, pam@purrrfectlyholistic.com. If you know somebody who has QuickBooks and Shopify expertise and can do bookkeeping and all of that, have them reach out to me because I need to hire somebody. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, so what questions do you guys want to talk about? What topics do you want to talk about? I know around here, our cats, and I say our because I have 2 step kitties now, they're all on raw food. And it's funny because his cats actually do better. They're better eaters than mine are because mine are so sensitive. I don't know if it's just because they're special. I spoiled them too much, maybe. But yeah, mine are really sensitive, and they get their feelings hurt. They get scared real easily. They don't like the smell of urine marking on the deck outside. And when their vibration drops, they don't want to eat their food, and I have to do a lot of work to clear everything. And his cats are just like, yeah, whatever. We're just happy to go outside and play in the backyard. And they seem unfazed by a lot of stuff. So they don't ever lose their appetite. And I'm not quite sure what to do about all that. But we're getting through it day by day. But yeah, our little blended family is getting better and better and less resistance, which is cool. It's just been a very interesting, how long have I been here now? Almost a little over 2 months. And yeah, February was a very exciting month. I got engaged Valentine's weekend, and we have a wedding planned for May 2nd. So I have a lot on my plate. And we're moving in June to Virginia Beach area. I don't know where yet, but it will be over there. So I have a lot going on. So, but I love doing this kind of stuff and connecting with you guys and working in the cat space and the healing and all of that. So yeah, that's why I do this, to support you guys and help you feel empowered. Okay, so Daria says, can we talk about Nux vomica and UTI, please? Well, yes, of course we can. Nux vomica is just one of many, many, many remedies that can help a UTI. And if you guys are not familiar with using homeopathy for cats, super easy. You dissolve, 3 pellets of the remedy in about half a cup of water. That is your liquid, we call it your remedy. And then you can reuse that for up to several days, depending on what you need it for, before the water kind of starts to get icky. But homeopathy is just an easy way to help the body's vital force rebalance itself. And it's based on the premise of like cures like. It's based on the homeopathic studies and practices of Samuel Hahnemann back in the 1800s, I believe, mid to late 1800s. And he was from Germany and a scientist. Um, the practice of homeopathy is fascinating, and basically they can basically take natural substances, plants, venoms from insects. They can take minerals. They can take just, I mean, you name it. There's just so many sources that they actually make remedies from, and they put a little tiny bit of whatever that substance is in some water, and they dilute and dilute and then dilute and dilute and dilute. Depending on how many dilutions it's gone through, you can go from anything from like 6 times up to 1,000 times of dilutions. So it gets stronger the more dilutions it has. So your 6Cs, which aren't diluted quite as much, you would think that would be strong, but it's actually not as strong as something that's been diluted 1,000 times. So, and those are really more for your chronic disease processes that have, it's been around. It's a really deep imbalance in the body. But homeopathy is easy to use. It's easy to find online in local stores and things like that. And the nice thing is, when it comes to working with cats, you guys know as cat people, cats don't like medicine. They don't like taking medicine. They don't like things that taste bad, and they don't like things that smell bad. So the nice thing about using the remedy that you mix up with water, it's water-based. It doesn't taste bad. And you can squirt it in the side of their mouth. You can actually squirt it on a little bit of a treat or a little bit of, baby food or something like that, just to help. They just lap it up. They don't even know it's there, but it works. And, when it comes to animals and with people, but with animals, things either work or they don't. There's no hiding the results, if that makes sense. I mean, some people say homeopathy doesn't work. Well, it does work if you have the right remedy. You will see a difference. You'll see changes. It could be within minutes. So, animals' bodies will tell you that, hey, this is working because my symptoms are improving. So that's why I love, love, love using homeopathy. I use it for me. I use it for my cats. I use it with clients and things like that, because it is that easy. And, this time of year with all of the allergy symptoms and things like that going on, there's all different kinds of remedies that can help specific symptoms when it comes to allergies. There are remedies that are really good for specific symptoms when it comes to UTIs. So it really depends on, you want to try to match the symptoms with the remedy. And you can go to, an online resource, or you can buy some, like a repertory, if you wanted to get a book or something like that has all the remedies, and then it will have list of like all the symptoms that remedy can help balance. And so homeopathy was studied on people, but we can take the symptoms that best match the pet's condition. And, things like the actual symptom of, let's just say vomiting, for example. Well, is it in the morning? Is it at night? Is it overnight? Is it when they're eating? Is it right after they ate? Or is it hours after they ate? And what makes it better? Is going outside, laying in the sun, make them feel better? What does their vomit look like? And how frequently is it? I mean, there's all these different factors that they look at when describing a remedy and the symptoms. So the repertories can be very, very long and detailed for every single part of the body, every body part, it's very, very interesting. So don't feel like you have to be an expert. You can go online and just Google homeopathy for UTI, like Daria was asking about. And you're going to find some, honestly, my favorite sites are the ones who are the Indian doctors, like the country India over in the East, because they practice homeopathy on a regular basis. And here in the United States, we don't have a lot of practicing doctors for homeopathy. But the nice thing about these websites is they'll list like the top remedies for X condition, and they'll put all the major symptoms of each remedy that they're recommending, and how that particular remedy addresses and balances these types of symptoms collectively. So you're not going to match every single one of them, but if you can match 2 or 3, then that's the remedy that I would start with. And then again, it would talk about, the symptoms that the person or the pet is having. It's really, really interesting to see how they're different, how they differentiate. It's not a site. It's just, you can Google homeopathy for UTI, and you're going to find all these pages that come up. And just look for, my favorites again are the ones that are the doctors from India. And so that's just a general term. You just look at the URLs and go to the websites, and you'll see if it's an Indian doctor. One of the most common ones that I see is drhomeo.com. I think it's his. But it's really great when they can list the remedies and give you like the most common symptoms that go to each one of those remedies. They're all UTI issues. So that's what I like to use. And let me give you another example. Like when it comes to allergies. Well, allergies is a very broad term, right? So some cats itch when it comes to allergies. Some cats have respiratory stuff and their eyes are running. Well, that's a very specific remedy for the runny eyes. Some cats have sinus congestion and they're all clogged up and they don't have a runny nose. Well, there's a specific remedy for that kind of symptom. Some cats have like this coughing, like they're trying to cough up phlegm. You can see them swallowing hard or hear them swallowing hard. There's a specific remedy that deals with allergies with that kind of symptom. There is a symptom of like cat with allergies and sinuses, or just like sneezing, and then they're coughing like from their lungs, or from like it's a raspy type of cough. It's not just trying to clear phlegm. There's a remedy specifically for those kinds of symptoms. So it can be very detailed, and that's why you have to really pay attention when it comes to doing or finding the right remedy for whatever the condition is. So I want to say hi to Bonnie over here. So does that help give you an answer? So Nexvomica is not the only remedy for UTI. I think in that particular case, it was like the emotional component of the behavior associated with the UTI. Lots of, whether the cat is crying a lot, whether they seem stressed, they're in distress, they're restless, those kinds of behavioral things are super important when it comes to looking at which remedies to select. So, and then once you kind of narrow it down, if you know how to muscle test, you muscle test the remedy and you see which one resonates for the cat. Or yourself. It all works the same way. So that's why I love applying the muscle testing with whatever it is I'm searching for, and the researching of the remedies, because again, you go from the wide funnel to the narrow funnel, and it really helps you streamline the process of healing, because then you're not wasting your time with all these different, symptoms that you might be chasing and trying this or that supplement. It just really narrows the process down. So, and I'm sorry if you guys hear the cat crying in the background. I think she wants to go outside, and it's nighttime here. So we tell her, I'm sorry, outside's closed. You have to wait till tomorrow. Okay, so Daria says, I just noticed after started giving her the nuts, she meowed after she used the litter, but after a couple of times giving her, she didn't do that anymore. Right, that was one of the symptoms of nuts for UTI in that particular case. maybe it was painful. It could have been burning or something. It could have been her bladder felt real spastic, or she felt like she needed to go, but there wasn't much coming out. It's like sensation of needing to go, but maybe you don't really need to go. Um, and when the remedy starts working, it rebalances things, so those symptoms ease off because the body is already in a healing state. So it's fascinating. And I will tell you, if you guys are trying a remedy and you're not quite sure if it's the right one, if you do 3 doses, like over a day or day and a half, and you don't see any improvement whatsoever, that's a sign that it's probably not the right remedy, and you need to go back to the drawing board and narrow down your symptoms, behavior, and physical, and try to find another one that matches a little better. Tony has a great question. How often do you rotate proteins for your cats, and what kind of treats could be used for cats that don't do freeze-dried? That's a great question. I currently feed Viva Raw, and I currently feed Darwin's pet food. And so I'm able to buy the variety that they offer. So beef, chicken, turkey, rabbit, duck, lamb. I think Viva has lamb. I can't remember. It's in my freezer. But and then I also throw in some small batch. My cats love lamb, and I can buy the small batch slider. So guess what they get? They get a variety. Tony, I rotate all the time. So it's not whatever's in the freezer that I've thawed. And with 6 cats, it goes quickly. So for example, tonight they had chicken and turkey in the same bowl. And tomorrow they'll have chicken because that's thawing. And then tomorrow they're going to have duck. Duck is thawing in the refrigerator. So it will be chicken and duck. So I'm always rotating through the proteins. And that's, to answer your question, I do it all the time. Because it diversifies their microbiome and it broadens their palate. So I'm a big fan of rotation as much as you can. And then as far as what kind of treats, if your cat can't do freeze-dried, think about sardines, think about food, think about actual food sources that's not freeze-dried. So you can go to your butcher or your grocery store and see if you can try some beef liver or some chicken liver, like fresh liver, or go to your local farmer's market and see what they have. If you work with a local farmer or rancher, they might be able to, save you some liver or some hearts. People think about these things for dogs, but they don't necessarily think about them for cats. But John, my fiance, is the cook in this household, and oh my God, he cooks. He's an amazing cook. But one of the things that he makes a lot of stock, like beef stock, chicken stock to cook with, and he buys actual chicken livers or beef livers from the grocery store, and he had made the stock one time, and there was all these livers left over. And so we froze some of them, and I would thaw some of them. And I was literally cutting up pieces of fresh liver and putting it in the food and mixing it all up. So, you could try it fresh like that, just cut in little pieces. Things like sardines in water, not oil. Mackerel, if you can find that, or rinse it off really good if it's in oil. Look at food sources of things. And, some cats even like, I know it's not popular, but cheese. There's actual cheese toppers that the Simple Food Project has. That's Wisconsin cheese, and it's basically cheese. It's not cold, cheese. I think it's probably dehydrated, whatever. But it's just like the toppers you would sprinkle on your own food. So you could think about things like that. Cats they like organ meat. Some cats like seafood, the stinky, smelly, fishy kinds of stuff. So you could look at stuff like that. If they can't do freeze-dried, maybe rehydrate the freeze-dried if it's a treat, and put it in some water, rehydrate it if you can. There's also jerky style, which is like air dried. I know there's some brands from New Zealand that air dry their meats and their organ meats. So if the freeze dried process doesn't work for you, maybe look at air dried treats as well. But that's what I would do. I would explore like your food. Is there any of your food? Maybe if you buy a rotisserie chicken at the grocery store, and it's not loaded with a bunch of, take the skin off that has all the spices. Some of our cats love rotisserie chicken, so pull out some dark meat. Next time next time you're cooking whatever meat it is, even if it's like ground beef or something, see if he would eat a little bit. And again, we're talking maybe a quarter teaspoon, half a teaspoon. It's a bite of something. Find ways to integrate, real food for him that he would view as a treat. That's what I would suggest trying. Yeah, real food can always be used in place of or as a reward or treat. It doesn't have to be, always from a pet food manufacturer or freeze-dried type of product, even though those are popular. And yet, the other thing I'm thinking of is like goat's milk. Raw goat's milk is great. It's great for the gut, the microbiome. It's diversified in all the gut floras. It's, if you can get a pet company version like Green Juju, Primal makes a good one. Those are great because it's not pasteurized. So try to look for stuff like that you can maybe add into his food or just feed it separately and offer it to him. I also like baby food as a treat. The Gerber baby food meats like chicken and gravy, turkey and gravy, ham and gravy, beef and gravy, those are really good. My cats love that stuff. The little puree packets, I know Fussy Cat is my cat's favorite purees in those little packets that you tear off the end and you squeeze them up. I know Tiki has them, Nulo has them, Fussy Cat has them. There's a lot of brands that make those, and those are great treats. Depends on what your cat likes. So you may have to experiment a little bit and find something that he's really motivated by. And that's what I would do. Just give him options. Cats are just like all animals. We make all the decisions for them. We decide what they're going to eat. We decide when they're going to go outside, if they're going to go outside. We decide what kind of water they're going to drink. We decide what supplements they're going to take, and we put them in their stuff. But animals have an intuitive ability to know what their bodies need and what they don't need. So if your cat is going through a phase where maybe he's been taking a particular supplement in the food for a long time, and then all of a sudden he's like walking away and he's like, nope, I don't want that food anymore. It may not be the food, it may be what's in it. And he may be trying to tell you, I don't need that anymore, or I don't want that anymore. And in my experience, when that has happened, it's because the body doesn't need it anymore. And they're trying to tell you, hey, you can take that out because I don't need it. Or in some cases, they just don't want it because they're like, nope, I'm done with that. So that's just something to think about. If you have a picky eater and you're putting stuff in the food, try to give them the choice. And that's what I love about offering them different things. I have a client who's amazing, and she sends me pictures of the buffet, and she has little bowls out, and they're all different flavors of like a freeze-dried foods or wet food or whatever she's offering them, and she gives them a choice, and they go select what it is that they want to eat. Now I know not everybody's going to do that, but if you can think about being creative like that, make them a little charcuterie board and let them self-select what it is they want to eat. I think it's brilliant. And cats, it's like if you were to do an animal communication session and say, hey, I'm going to give you the choice, they would probably think that is the coolest because they don't get a lot of choices. We make all the decisions for them. So that's just my 2 cents on the whole treat thing. But I hope that gives you some ideas. Okay. What else do you guys want to talk about? Those are great questions. Um, I'll probably be on here for about 5 more minutes or so. Um, so is there any other topics, any other thoughts or ideas? You guys on Instagram, do you have anything you want me to bring up? Vicky's here. Hi, how are you? I was just talking about your buffet that you set out for your cats. I think it's awesome. The self-selection is the best. And if you guys are not familiar with self-selection, go watch some interviews with me and Julianne Hart, because we talk about that a lot in for herbs for cats and flower essences and essential oil selections and things like that, where animals can self-select and self-medicate. Basically, it's awesome. But they can do it for food too, which is cool. Okay. Anything else that you guys want to bring up or have questions on? I probably will not. Well, no, I'm thinking May. I will have a Q&A in May. It's just going to be this. Yeah, the first Wednesday in May is actually, I think, what, the 7th or 6th, 7th, 8th, something like that. I'll figure it out. But yeah, we will. I'll be around for that. So Vicky says, oh, so sorry, says Tony says, what would the herbal gardens be okay too? You know, the herb gardens are great. I mean, it's not necessarily something he's going to want to eat, but just sniffing and smelling and taking in those terpenes, which is the scents, those molecules that are airborne. It's awesome. It's awesome to watch a cat go sit on or sit in front of and smell certain herbs versus other ones, and it can give you a real insight into what they're feeling or going through based on the property of the herb that they're selecting. But again, it wouldn't be something they would probably eat. But if they did eat it, it would be okay, because those herb gardens that you're referring to are organic herbs. You know, some cats, for example, will eat catnip. Not all cats want to eat catnip, but sometimes they do want to nibble on it, and it's totally safe. Absolutely. Vicky says, I thought that was us. I was trying to figure out how to send you a picture. Yeah. I just remember the picture that you sent me, and I think it's really cute. And your little boy was over there, like, trying to decide which one he was going to choose, which was so cute. Okay. Let's see. Is there any other questions before we wrap things up? So if you guys are just joining us, thank you for coming. We are here to talk about your questions on caring for your cats with a more holistic approach. If there's a topic that you want to talk about or have questions on, if you're struggling with something, if your cat is struggling with a certain emotional issue or physical issue, let me know, because then I might be able to give you some suggestions or tips. So yeah, that's why we love doing these shows, because it's fun to collaborate and just share information, which is, I can share with you what I've learned, what I've done, what's helped my cats, what's helped other cats. But it's fascinating. Okay, Vicky says, how did the snake video end up? Oh my gosh. Okay, well, the next morning that snake was a baby snake. Okay, it was still outside on the porch, and John picked it up and put it underneath the shed. So we told it to go find a hole to crawl into. So hopefully it is okay. But I cannot explain to you guys how happy Skylar is when I don't even know where she finds these things. This is the second baby snake she has found since I've moved here. And one she found when it was like really cold outside. And we're like, where are you getting a snake? Snakes don't come out when it's freezing cold outside. So yeah, she is just, the light in her face, just exuberance, and she's throwing it in the air, and she's playing, and she's running around. She'll pick it up in her mouth and she'll run. And oh my God, I just laugh, even though it creeps me out because I hate snakes. So yeah, as far as I know, he's still alive, but I don't know if he survived or not. She just wants to play, and poor snakes. I know it's probably like a rat snake or something, or one of those non-poisonous garden snakes of some kind. It wasn't a poisonous snake or anything, but oh my gosh, she's so happy when she finds those things, and of course she has to bring them to the patio. As long as she doesn't bring them in the house. Now she brought the first one in the house a few weeks ago, and I lost it. No, it wasn't going anywhere. By the time she was bringing it in the house, it was barely moving, but she didn't care. She would pick it up in her mouth and run off and drop it and bat it around and pick it up and run off and take it somewhere else. But yeah, no, I told her she can't do that. I never know what to expect. I never know what to expect with these cats. She is mischief maker for sure. She and Breeze keep me on my toes. So yeah, snakes, no, I don't want to do snakes. Okay. Well, I guess, guys, if you guys can't think of anything else, we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. But I really appreciate you being here tonight. And Tony says, congratulations on your engagement. Can you show us your Valentine's surprise before you finish? Oh, yes, of course, I can. This is my Valentine's surprise. I don't know if you can see that, but that was my engagement ring. And I think it's aquamarine. I think it's supposed to be my birthstone. My birthstone is December. But yeah, so we're in the middle of wedding planning and all the fun stuff that goes with that. So it hasn't been stressful. It's just been, we're just going in stride. We've got so much taken care of already. And it's going to be small, so not a whole lot of people, not hundreds and hundreds of people. So that makes it a little easier as well. So yeah, thank you so much. It's exciting. And Deanna, my Reiki gal who did a show with me last month, we're thinking about doing another show on manifestation and talking about how I manifested my future husband, because that's what happened. So that's a whole story, but we're thinking about doing a show on it. So let us know if you want us to do a show and show you like reality. We talked for a year in shows about manifestation and how to do it, and the whole thing, everything around manifestation and law of attraction, law of vibration, and all that good stuff. So yeah, this happened as a result of that year-long thing on manifestation. So I know it's appealing to a lot of people. And people are curious about that. So let us know what your thoughts are if you want us to talk about that again and give you guys some real life examples, because we've had a few things happen over the last year and a half. Yeah, if we do the show, we'll definitely let you guys know it's coming, and we'll be sharing it out. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's pretty. He surprised me for sure, and he did a really, really, really good job. Yeah, so anyway. Okay, guys. We're going to wrap it up for tonight. I thank you so much. Share the show. If you have friends that want to learn more about treats and rotation and diets and homeopathy and UTIs and things like that, then definitely share the show out. And if you're on our Facebook, and go ahead and just like the show so we can get in front of more eyes, and share it if you feel drawn to do that as well. But we'll be back next month for more Q&A. And in the meantime, we do have a really cool show with Dr. Odette Suter later this month. And the title of the show is Your Vet a Unicorn. And we're going to talk about some really cool stuff on that show. So definitely tune in. It's going to be the last Monday of the month for the podcast. But until then, if you guys need to reach us, come on over to purrrfectlyholistic.com. Check out our website there. And if you want to spoil your cats, go over to shop.purrrfectlyholistic.com and check out our store. Okay, we'll see you guys. Have a great rest of your evening, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.